Hi, 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 hi. We're back. Hi, hi. Okay, so many technical difficulties. Um, hey, gang. Spacetime Badass here. Today I want to make a video about social programming. So, first of all, what is social programming? Well, I'm glad you asked. Social programming is basically any idea, belief, mainly beliefs, opinions, things of that nature that you have about yourself, others, the world, the way things should be, etc., that are just social constructs that you were basically programmed to believe through repetition, hearing these things, rather than coming up with your own conclusions on them. So, for instance, there are a ton of gender rules. Scratch that. There are no gender rules. There are no gender roles. So yeah, gender roles. Speaking more correctly here, is there's so many of them. So like that a man should be this, that a man should not be feminine, that a man should not paint his nails, that someone is gay if they are feminine and a male. Um, that men should dress as men and women should dress as women, that women should shave their legs, that they should shave their armpits, things like that. There's a lot of like gender role things, specifically that upset me with these social programming. But then there's just like a ton of social programming things out here. I mean, political things are mostly programmed because when people grow up with their parents who have certain political standings, then you grow up with similar political standings until you develop your own. Maybe you don't develop your own. It really depends from person to person. But there are a ton of social programmings out there, social programs out there that you have, believe it or not, unless you're someone like me who I'm sure I still have some. That's it's evident everywhere. Racial things too. Racial things are programmed in to think that we're all different. Um, no, but people like have these. I'm sure I still have some. The only way to really reduce these is to acknowledge that you have them, pick them apart, and then decide for yourself. But yeah, the only reason the only way that you couldn't have social programming is if you grew up alone in the wilderness, or if you realized that you had it and then kind of just changed your ideological standing um, on your own, of your own accord, realizing that you have these beliefs, opinions, ideals that are not productive, not true, not helpful to you and to society. And mainly, I want to make this this video about how to get rid of it. Oh my god, I didn't mean to show that in the frame. I'm like fighting with this cigarette. I'm gonna give in. I'm gonna give in. It's okay. You can give in sometimes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I know this is going to make me not think very well. Why did I do this? So, basically, those are what social programs, if they can be called such, are. Why do you want to get rid of them? Why should you get rid of them? They aren't productive. They aren't helpful to society by and large. They're not helpful to you, they're not helpful to others, because they paint a certain picture of how we are supposed to interact. And if this picture is painted in a way that is like, oh, I think that, blacks are violent, or that Asians are great with math, or, what have you, these certain stereotypes, these programmed social ideals, then you're going to, if you think these things, then you're going to react accordingly instead of treating people with the appropriate amount of respect and interacting as human beings, which is really the big thing for me. You want to be able to interact with human beings on a level playing field, and if we have these ideals and these terrible notions in our head that were programmed in there from previous generations who were just increasingly more backwards the further back you go, then we're not really going to get very far, are we? We're not going to progress to where we should as a human race, as one unified race, and eventually one unified planet who can then go on to do greater things and survive and help our planet flourish instead of destroy it. So, I mean, there's a lot of good things that can come out of destroying your social programming, and when you destroy your social programming, you can help break down other people's social programming so that they can see that their beliefs, that they were just given by impression, by society, by other people. Excuse me. So they can see that their ideas that are socially programmed in there are bad, and they can form their own opinions, which will be more pure, and that will help people around them. So we're creating like a ripple effect. So if it starts with me, it starts with one person here who has like looked at everything that they were taught to believe, and you just kind of pick away the bad things, and like, why do I think this, and if I think this then that, and this kind of thinking will get me nowhere, whereas new thinking will get you everywhere. So if it starts with a ripple effect, if I break apart my social programming, and then I help to break down the social programming of people that I know, and they break down their social programming, and then they ripple out, that sort of thing. Everyone tells two friends, okay? And then they tell two friends, and then those two friends tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and they tell two friends. Sorry, this is not really my typical kind of video. I don't know why I'm kind of pepped up here. I don't know, I should apologize for that. But this is why you should want to get rid of your social programming, went over what it is. How do you do it? How does one get rid of their social programming so that they can form their own beliefs? Well, I like to think that there are a lot of natural approaches to this. The easiest, I would guess, would probably be release work. Yeah. So release work is something that I have actually done, and I used methods from Rich2150X, who is a YouTuber who does so many awesome videos on out-of-body experiences and just like mentality things like release work. He's just got so much good info, and he seems like such a good dude, and like he will reply to your comments, and he's got so many subscribers and viewers, and he's just a genuinely awesome guy. And I generally don't endorse or promote people unless I believe in what they're doing, and like, I mean, the contact that I've ever had with the guy is very minimal, but in those contacts, I mean, the comments and stuff, he's been a super good guy, and his release work helped me specifically with getting out of body, because I found that there was a lot of barriers in the way, and once you kind of analyze why there are these barriers, you can move past them. So you can also look at social programming as barriers, because all these social programmings are designed to set up barriers between you and I, to set barriers between people, saying that I can't talk to this person, and this person can't talk to this person, and we can't relate and be human beings together with one another because of these reasons that are just completely fabricated. We are the masters of our destiny. We should interact with all human beings with kindness and decency, and we should grow as a race and as a people and unify and overall lead happy lives, and social programming can't prevent that. So if you break down these barriers, then there's more of the good interaction occurring. Excuse me. Oh no. Oh no. Losing cherries and too careless. So anyway, Rich2150X, that's RICH2150X. Yeah, I think. He's got a lot of release work. I would search him and then release work, and that is some really good stuff. So like a rundown, basically what that is, it's you find like a social programming thing, like, or a belief that you feel is getting in the way of things, and you say, why do I think this? Well, I think this because of that. Why did I think that because of this, or why did this occur? And you just basically you're following it down to its most simplest form, back to where it originated. I believe this based on this experience, or because so-and-so told me this. Why did so-and-so tell me this? Because so-and-so probably had an experience that could have gone like this, but we need to realize that not all experiences could have gone this way, etc., etc. You break it down, and you realize that this doesn't originate from you. This doesn't originate from the self. So why do I believe something that, is external? Why am I believing something based off of someone else's experience? We should obviously make our own opinions based on our own experiences and just be logical with it. And Rich's release work is really good, so that's probably the easiest way. A little bit harder way, probably meditation. Meditation tends to unify and that sort of thing, and really clear your head and help you understand, when something is just not productive for you. Now, meditation is a really big dedication. I've never done a whole lot of meditation myself, but I still do it from time to time, and especially in lucid dreams now, like, since I have a basic groundwork for meditation, doing meditation, even as a beginner, in a lucid dream, it's like you're an expert meditating normally, and just really great things can happen. But meditation is, I would say, a viable option to help dispel social programming. Another way that I can't condone or endorse, and I'm not telling you to do, is probably psychedelics. Psychedelics are famous for breaking down barriers. In fact, it has been tested on a lot of militarized societies and stuff. Like, there's some footage that I saw recently of back in, like, World War II era. I believe they were trying LSD on British soldiers to see how they could incapacitate people. But there was also a study done for the United States, where they gave people in the military doses of LSD. And, if you're on psychedelics, you get that really introspective experience, and everything looks more clear. You have this bigger feeling of unity, and you get a greater understanding. And they found, when they administered LSD to these soldiers, that the first thing they wanted to do was quit the military. And that's a big reason of why psychedelics, LSD, mushrooms, DMT, a lot of entheogens and stuff are illegal to use. It's because the government deemed them dangerous because it creates free thinkers. If we give someone in the military a drug and they don't want to be in the military anymore, then they won't kill people for us. And if we can't get people to kill other people, then we're not going to meet our ends. So that was basically the thinking of the United States government, and I'm sure other European governments as well, though I know that a lot of European governments are more lax on it now. I think, like, Norway is one. Really good, awesome place for that sort of thing. But yeah, so basically psychedelics will break apart this social programming, and it'll do it so fucking fast. It'll do it really, really fast for you. But that's illegal, and I don't think you should do anything illegal. And I haven't done anything illegal. So, that's just informational. I'm going to just put that information out there, and you can think about that information. Those are the ways to get rid of it. I mean, if you don't want to do release work, meditation, psychedelics, which I can't condone, I would say just introspect hard, really hard, and just look at yourself. I mean, it can be done with that. It's also an easy way. It's just a more time-consuming way. And we all lead such busy lives now. and the time is precious. So, yeah, I mean, hard introspection can really dissolve these social programming barriers. I think it's important. I made a video about it, so I think it's really important, and I think we should all do our part to dispel our social programming, because we have such a limited time on Earth. People individually, people as a whole, we have such a very short amount of time on Earth. If people don't start dissolving these social barriers and destroying the social programming so that we can actually unify and get something done, our world is dying, and that's our fault. And it's getting to the point where if we don't, within the next few years, completely change how we interact with each other, how we harness our technology, how we proceed forward in life, if we don't completely change how, the impact that we're having on the planet, then the planet's going to die real damn soon. And that really starts with you and I. It starts with, one person here, one person there. It starts on the individual level. So if we start interacting with each other as human beings, and we're earnest and wholehearted in that, we can communicate better. Our needs are met better through communication. We can change easier and change the world much easier as well. So this is something that I'm really passionate about, and I hope that you do dissolve your programming, and any information that you want to put down below is welcomed. Thank you for watching. I am Spacetime Badass.